alien implants. We'll simply call this case file SC0010908, and if I can work this machine, we'll go on. Now, the patient has been using a pseudonym. His name is John Smith. He's 47 years old, and he is married with 3 children. He resides in Southern California, and his occupation just happens to be a physical scientist. So very strange things involved in this case. He has a positive alien abduction history, and as you know, ANS research has a very strict set of protocols and criteria that we use before any surgery is performed. And John fulfilled all the criteria and protocols and became the 15th case. The area of concern here is the second toe of the left foot. We had x-rays taken, and they showed a metallic foreign body measuring about 4 millimeters in length and about the thickness of a pencil lead. We had laboratory data coming from Los Alamos National Laboratories and from New Mexico Tech. If you remember, they didn't know what these samples were. This was a blind study, and they came back with a conclusion that these are a meteorite-like samples. And as you know, people don't step on meteorites or whack them with their hand, otherwise they'd have a very big hole, and probably not much material would be embedded in it. Once the x-rays are taken, then we know that there's an object there. We use a CAT scan, and the CAT scan will give us the approximation of where the object lies, and we're able to then do the surgery more specifically. Estimated date of insertion was February the 28th of 2008. And how do we know that? Well, the individual remembers waking up in the morning, and he saw a couple of drops of blood on the bed sheets, and he looked down at the toe, and there was a couple of small puncture wounds which healed within a very short time. As with the other cases, again, there was no scar and no portal of entry available. One of the cases we did was emanating a radio frequency, which was verified by a friend of mine in Las Vegas, let's put it that way, who sent me a classified FCC sheet, and we found out that that frequency was broadcasting on a deep space radio frequency. Now, if that don't knock your socks off, I don't know what does. Now, the specimen appeared, when you looked at it as on an x-ray, as a solid unit. But yet when we went to remove it, it came out in multiple fragments. It was quite brittle in nature, and it sort of came apart. And the fragments, as in the other cases, were surrounded by this very strange type of biological coating, which we've been finding with some of the other objects. The fragments were all placed on a surgical drape, which you will see, and I had to very carefully pick these fragments up and put them in the specimen container, which contains the patient's own blood serum. One of the photos is the device that we use for the detection of radio waves, and we did that as well as using the Gauss meter. This may be a little hard to see, but there is an object right here, and that's the object that we removed, and a few pieces of the specimen. Here's the specimen container. It contains blood serum and has a bit of the sample on it. Now, we'll just diverge for a moment. What we like to do is we like to check as many things as possible, and this case was so interesting I couldn't help but want to present you this material. There's a number of magnetic anomalies we found. The exterior of the master bedroom wall above and below, but mainly below the window, showed some magnetic properties. A backyard soil was highly magnetic with a large magnetic field exceeding 10 milligauss, and the soil also spontaneously catches fire. We took samples and had some soil analysis done and found that the soil has an extremely high bromine content. He had a fiberglass boat that was in the driveway, and the fiberglass was also highly magnetic, which I don't know how that can happen. There was anomalies also of a Cadillac automobile that the individual drives. The interior of the house had numerous magnetic anomalies. All the utensils in the kitchen drawers, including things that absolutely should not be magnetic, such as those wooden salad serving forks and spoons and other utensils that were either plastic or made of wood. They are not supposed to be magnetic. The kitchen cupboard hinges were highly magnetic, and some of them contained only one pole of the magnet. Unipoles are not supposed to exist, but evidently they do. The interior master bedroom wall, again around the windows and confluent areas which we found on the outside, was also magnetic. This is a drawing of the house, and it indicates areas of a large amount of magnetism. There was a avocado tree that was growing in the backyard, and we set the Gauss meter on a limb of the avocado tree, and it pegged the Gauss meter at 10 milligauss. Now, if you've ever seen an avocado tree that was magnetic, please get in touch with me at once. All right, now in addition to this, we were able to dim the lights in the bedroom, and using 3 different frequencies of ultraviolet light, we found 2 small childlike handprints on the wall which were phosphorescing, and they only have 4 fingers. 48 hours, here's another weirdo, 48 hours after the surgical specimen was placed in a sealed container, I went to check on it. All the little pieces that we had taken out, I told you the object broke into a number of fragments. All the little pieces became a darker color. And they not only became a darker color, but when you lifted up the specimen container, they began to rearrange themselves in the order of which we saw in the X-ray. Never seen anything like that before. We're working on possible explanations why this happened. Okay, let's go to the testing. We performed a number of tests, and as you realize, what I've told you before, we look at the object and we look at the outside first, and then we begin to look in. So we do some optical microscopy and get to see what the thing looks like with some magnification, and then we do SEMs, which is scanning electron microscopy, and EDX, which is X-ray dispersive X-rays, and that tells us what the object is basically made out of as far as the elements are concerned. These are a couple of the graphs using what's called Raman spectroscopy, and it begins to give us clues into what we are looking at. Now, analytical tests showed the following. We showed trace element patterns which were consistent with meteoric origin. All the way back, remember I told you in the beginning, back to the first 2 cases. We're all the way back to that again, and we look at the nickel-iron ratio in these, and the nickel-iron ratio appears to fit in the meteoric category. Now, what someone has done, some entity or something, looks like they're using a meteoric iron mixed with some other rare elements to make an object, to put together an object with a specific function. Now, In addition, there are a number of things that we found. I told you about the nickel-iron ratio. We found some minor elements in the sample. Some of them are listed here. These are very strange elements to find in somebody's foot. You just usually don't find these sort of things. Now, in addition to this, we have testing which shows that there's biological material which is either growing out from the metal or into the metal. We don't know yet, but we're doing more testing and more data. This is mind-blowing enough, especially when you look at the last one here, which is uranium, and the only isotope of uranium that was found was U-238, which is very difficult to find in nature existing by itself. Some of the testing that was done at the University of Toronto in Canada showed that there were very interesting spheres or ovoids and other material that was found in the samples at the University of Toronto, including in this particular sample, we not only found those confluent with what we found in at the University of Toronto Material Science Department, but we've also found inclusions which appear to be sodium chloride crystals that are rectangular in various sizes. Is there anybody here that's old enough to remember a crystal set? If you raise your hands, I'll try and see. Yeah, a few people. The old radio was a crystal set. And what did you use to get a radio program? You used the crystal, you know, and a battery and a copper coil and a set of earphones, and lo and behold, you got a radio show. The early days of radio. So crystals must have some meaning, and perhaps that meaning is being used by entities from somewhere else or intelligences from somewhere else that know how to use the atomic structure of the elements that we have here in this solar system, or maybe some other solar system, or maybe some other distant galaxy. Who knows? But they're able to put things together in, yes, you could say, a manufactured way, as we consider manufacturing. So they can put things together that can use these basic materials for a very specific purpose. We as humans have been, you know, through normal evolutionary process has been changing over a period of time. And, you know, to put a significance on a very specific date, you know, kind of flies in the face of global reality. If you look, for example, only at geographical upheavals and changes that have occurred on Earth, there is very, very few that have occurred within a short period of time. All the changes, the movement of the tectonic plates, the separation of the land masses to the formation from a Pangea to what we have today has taken a millennia, many, many, many years. And that's what we have, you know, from recorded man's history. But the Earth is much older, and, you know, there's good indication that intelligent entities have lived here through the millennia. When you're kept in the dark, as us modern humans have been, and you don't know where you come from, if you can't understand the past, you can't really understand the present, and you certainly can't predict the future. So it would be good if the public, the population of the Earth would get up off their haunches, quit watching the Lakers and the stupid stuff on TV, and get out of the hologram that we live in and learn a bit, you know, from what we have about the past and the world. Then maybe we could really, you know, figure out, you know, where we're going in the future. But there's so much there that's been purposely hidden from us by organizations and groups through the last period of history, that we have lost all insight into even what we were or what we are.